2, 1. And we are live. Alright guys, welcome back to my bedroom. I still don't have my studio set up, unfortunately. But good news is, I am back from a little travel. I was actually gone, believe it or not, for roughly 10 days. I traveled through Thailand with a bunch of buddies of mine that I haven't seen for basically over 8 years in that constellation. Pretty crazy stuff, very, very good childhood friends. And I pre-recorded a bunch of videos for you guys. And I saw that you appreciated that. So thank you very much for your ongoing support. However, I was removed for 10 days basically from YouTube. And this is why I haven't uploaded yet the Sheikh Uthman discussion on my channel. So pretty soon I should be able to re-upload it. In case you haven't watched it on his channel, I'm gonna upload the whole thing as one video, so you can re-watch it on my channel as well, if you want to do that. I got many requests for it. I think it was a very fruitful discussion. I believe there was something for everyone, be it Muslim or non-Muslim. I believe that Sheikh Uthman answered the questions very honestly, very directly. He has a very pragmatic style, I would say, of answering and keeping it back to the basics, if I can say it like that. Because I was interested in, let's say, Sufi philosophy, Ibn Arabi and whatnot, but he always brought it back to his understanding of Quran and Sunnah. And for me that made really sense, the way that he presented it. He stayed straight in his delivery, and I appreciate that. So overall I would say it was a fruitful discussion. I really appreciated him taking the time and answering all my questions. I didn't expect it, to be honest. He told me as well that he reached out to me because he saw something in me that he didn't see in other YouTubers, be it me being genuinely looking for the truth or whatnot. He as well mentioned that usually he doesn't do interviews with other YouTubers that reach out to him. So to clarify it one more time, I didn't reach out to Sheikh Uthman at all. He reached out to me and he really took his time. I think we talked almost 4 hours. And yeah, this is something that you don't see that often. A man that is really passionate about his cause and a man that will go in depth in answering the questions and truly taking his time. So I definitely appreciate that. Right, anyways, that being said, guys, today we're gonna do an Ask Me What You Will live, if you will. So whatever you want to ask, you can ask me here. As always, of course, the super chats and the Streamlabs donations will be prioritized. I have 252 viewers right now, so it will be impossible for me to go through the chat and answer all of your questions, even if I would like to do that. So yes, if you want to support this channel... This is so loud! So yes, if you want to support this channel via Streamlabs or Super Chats, as we just saw Agath and Alchemy did, then you can find the link in the chat box. Thank you very much for that. And otherwise the Super Chat button underneath, if I'm not mistaken. Like that, you can get your questions answered and you can support the channel at the same time. Alright, let's get into it. Excusez-moi, I'm a bit tired, guys. I just came back from a little family vacation as well. On top of everything, we just went to the beach for a nice weekend with my wife and kid. So a little bit tired today, but we're gonna pick up soon, I'm sure. Alright, Agath and Alchemy, thank you very much for the tip. What would you call someone who follows the Quran first and then the Torah and 5 Gospels plus Thomas second? A Quranic Abrahamist? Because that's what I do, lol. Hope you've been well, Bobby. God bless you and your family. I wouldn't put myself into the position to call anybody anything, to be totally honest. So if this is how you qualify yourself as a Quranic Abrahamist, then this is what you are, I would say. Because we live in a society where you can choose what you want to be, right? You can choose your gender as well. If you declare to be a woman, you're a woman, and I'm gonna address you by your pronouns. Kidding. But point of the story is that ultimately faith is personal, and if this is how you perceive yourself, then this is what it is. I myself would say that monotheist describes it the best. So this is how I see myself. I see myself as a monotheist. I definitely accepted the Quran. We are that far in the game. I cannot deny it, and I cannot deny the Quran after reading it one time. So I wouldn't call myself a Quranist necessarily, but I would definitely call myself a monotheist. That's it. Thank you very much. Gonna read it out in a second. Yeah, so that's how I would describe myself, a monotheist, basically. When it comes down to your perception of it all, I mean, what does it really mean, right? If we get into the nitty-gritty of your description here, you believe in the Torah. Okay. If you believe in the Torah, there are certain things that the Quran clarifies. Thank you very much. There are certain things that the Quran clarifies, and the same would apply to the Gospels as well, right? So the Gospels, the Gospel of John specifically, where Jesus is described in a very, very, very exalted fashion. This is definitely debunked within the Quran, where it states that you shouldn't do to Muhammad what the Christians did to Jesus, right? So therefore, if you say you do believe in the Quran, then you cannot fully believe in the Torah and the 5 Gospels, so to speak, right? So you can use them, you can read them, but to fully acknowledge them the way that they are would be a contradiction to the Quran. So therefore I would rather say, thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna all read it out in a second. So therefore I would say it makes much more sense to say, okay, the Muslims declared that the Quran is the clarification, is essentially there as a reminder and as something that sets the record straight, so to speak, right? And yeah, if you really believe in the Quran, that's exactly the effect that you're getting. You look at the Bible and you can use it, that's for sure, but you see it differently. I always say that the messages, the stories that you find within the Bible are referred to within the Quran. That's a fact, that's undeniable, right? The Quran speaks about the people of Lot, etc., etc. So those stories you can read within the Bible, and then you will understand the Quran even more so. I would even say, and I would go so far, even though, yet again, I'm not a scholar, but that it makes absolute sense to read the Bible, to read the Torah, and then to read the Quran and to see it all as a continuation, or to see where possibly, potentially, you had some man-made changes. Absolutely. So to refer to all of those scriptures, to look at them, I believe that anybody who calls themselves a monotheist or a religious person owes it to themselves to actually look into those scriptures. But nevertheless, we have to address that the Quran debunks certain claims of those scriptures, and therefore to say a Quranic Abrahamist, essentially then you are a Muslim. That's basically what it is. Because then you're somebody that follows in the footsteps of Abraham, and you get to the Quran, which makes you then a Muslim, makes you a believer. Yeah, okay. Wakey, wakey. I haven't done this in 1 month, I just realized. Wow, the old super chats are a month ago. Wow, that's crazy, man. I should do much more live streams. I will try it. I will try it, guys. Okay, so next one, so I don't miss anything. Pochi Nene, I believe. Super chatted $2. Thank you very much. Do you feel comfortable around Muslims in Thailand? Not only comfortable, but very, very comfortable. I always have to smile when I see Muslims around here. And it is so curious, man, because no matter what you focus on in your life, this you will notice so much more. It's always like that. It's so crazy. When I was a silly vegan here in Thailand, all of a sudden I would realize, wow, there's a vegan restaurant here, and there's a vegan whatever, get-together, fruit meetup just here in Bangkok. Cool. Yeah, but I didn't notice much Muslims at all, to be honest, in Thailand. I noticed Muslims when I was in Indonesia, obviously, but in Thailand not so much. And when I would go to Malaysia, I would notice Muslims, obviously. And I thought, oh, cool. So those are Muslim countries. Thailand is a Buddhist country, and I don't see many Muslims. Duh, obviously. But that's not the case at all. Since I'm here, man, I've seen so many hijabis, so many Muslims. It's wild. I've never noticed them. Especially in places such as Bangkok or even Pattaya. Pattaya has a reputation for being the biggest red light, so haram city, if you will, in the world. But I've seen so many hijabis, man, so many Muslims. It's amazing. I go eat a lot of halal food around here because I don't eat pork, as you guys know, and I don't speak Thai. So sometimes when I want to order something where I'm not too sure about, I'm kind of afraid that they will serve me pork, so I go to halal stands, etc., etc. It has been absolutely fantastic. I feel very, very welcomed here and absolutely comfortable. Thank you very much, Hamza Patan. Super chatted 100. I don't know what that is. Looks a little bit like yen, to be honest. But I can't really decipher it. Not too sure what that is. But either way, thank you very much for your, I assume, generous donation, brother. I appreciate it. Hello, bro. Hope you're doing well. I want to lose weight. Got a lot of injuries from sports. I am 18, by the way. Yeah, that is sad to hear, man, that you're already injured at 18. This is when I started getting injured. I started bodybuilding with 16, basically, back in the day. Thank you very much. I will respond in a second. I started getting injured, maybe not with 18, rather with 19, 20, 21. This is where I trained super hard and got injured quite a bit. If you want to lose weight, you will have to find some sort of activity, that's for sure. If you just do cardio, then you will decimate your muscles and you will highly likely hang on to the fat a bit. So you need to find some sort of sport that will actually activate your muscles. And with 18 years old, your body is still young and will recover. I'm certain of that. So you don't have to essentially wait for those injuries to totally heal up. You can already start lightly doing something. Of course, not if you have a torn rotator cuff or ACL or whatnot, then please go fix it. But if it's just slight injuries, then you will have to work around it and stabilize those muscle groups or whatever the injury might be. That being said, for losing weight, the easiest thing to do is the carnivore diet. I don't eat fully carnivore anymore, especially not since I'm a dad, but it's the easiest way. I could go into detail now and tell you, oh man, it's the best thing to do a rice and chicken diet, or you have to count your macros, you have to count your micros, you have to count your protein, you have to count your calories, blah blah blah. Yes, this is absolutely phenomenal and effective if you really adhere to it. But you would have to learn a lot to stick to such a plan. I used to make meal plans for people, but it was kind of hard for them to stick to it. Because they would have to pre-cook every single meal, they would have to weight their meals. It was very, very tricky. And ultimately a carnivore diet, if you do it right, means you will be eating 2 big steaks per day. With that you will be in a caloric deficit pretty much guaranteed. And like that, losing weight is very, very easy. You can still eat out in restaurants if you go to a steakhouse. You can just eat burger patties, that works too. You can have scrambled eggs and omelette if it's not made in vegetable oils. It's just so easy to adhere to. So for some people it sounds crazy and super tough to do because how can I eat just meat? But it's actually super, super simple to do. You're just eating beef basically. During carnivore I didn't eat any chicken. A little bit of fish, but it was predominantly red meat. And yeah, it's just easy. You wake up, most of the time you're not hungry yet. You can do some fasted cardio, for example, and after that you have a steak. Maybe you're going to eat a little bit of butter with it, maybe 1 egg, and then you go about your day, and then you're going to repeat that. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times, and that's it. You don't have any carbohydrates, like that you're going to deplete your glycogen, you're going to get into fat burning mode right away. It's just simple, it's easy, it's effective. So if you really want to lose weight, I would definitely recommend the carnivore diet. Thank you very much. I'm going to read it out in a second. Yeah, as I was saying, I would definitely recommend the carnivore diet. Keto diet is fine too, but actually harder to adhere to. Those veggies that you put into, they just make it harder, man. Thank you very much. I'm going to read it out in a second. They just make the whole thing more complicated. You're going to end up eating a lot of broccoli and sprouts and whatnot. For what? Anti-nutrients, and it's not satisfying at all. Makes you even hungrier. So yeah, thank you guys, really appreciate it. I'm gonna read it out in a second. Man, this day was long. Here in Thailand it's already pretty late, as I said, and I just came back from a beach trip with my family. So it takes a bit for me to pick up here. But your support surely helps. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, back to it. So as I was saying, the carnivore diet is just the most simple way to do it. Other than that, yes, you can do as long as it fits your macros. Thank you guys. You can do as long as it fits your macros, etc, but then you really have to calculate everything, and if you don't know much about nutrition, it's just a huge struggle. So to go through all of that, why do it if you can just do the carnivore diet and you're done with it? Carnivore diet, some type of exercise that doesn't damage you further, and you're good to go. Cardio, empty stomach, fasted in the morning, always works. 20 minutes at first, half an hour in the morning, fat burning mode activated right away. Best thing you can do. Thank you very much for the super chat. And as always, guys, I see the chat is ravaging. It's going very well here. We have 368 viewers. I think that's a personal record. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Thank you very much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. But I cannot possibly read out the chats. It's impossible to read them all. Look at this. That's... So I can only answer the super chats and Streamlabs donations for now. Please understand, guys. Please understand. I would like to answer you all, but I can't. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Where are we? At Angelo Saleh, super chatted 5 euros. Thank you very much, Angelo. But I don't see a question attached to it. I think it's just a super chat. Let me double check. I don't see a question. As I always say, guys, if you super chat, if you use the Streamlabs donation tab, then attach your question, because like that I can answer it. Unfortunately, I cannot see any question here. But thank you anyways. I really appreciate it, man. Merci beaucoup. Pochinene super chatted. Thank you very much. Super chatted $2. Do you still watch David Wood and do you believe him? Yeah, so first and foremost, what I learned is to not believe anybody anymore, but simply to put matters of faith. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, that was water. Do I still watch David Wood? No. Do you believe him? As I said, no, I don't believe anybody anymore. Now you can call me damaged for good and I mistrust people, but no. Matters of faith, they're between you and God, and I rather pray to God and ask him to guide me, and I'm sure that then an all-merciful God will guide me to the right path. That's how I see it, so therefore no, I don't believe anything anymore. What I see online is simply another man's opinion. This reminds me of a quote of the Bible, let no man teach you. That's pretty valuable. So no thanks. The change has to happen within. If something resonates with you, fantastic. If not, that's great as well. But no, I don't believe David Wood, especially not after researching Islam myself. So now, are there certain things that pop up that are somehow correlated to Islam, if you will, created by people that could potentially be shocking if you hear them first? Yeah, sure. At the same time, thank you very much. But at the same time, I can distinguish between Quran, which for me was crystal clear, yet again, and man-made fabrications. That's how I see it, at least. Because if you watch the Sheikh Uthman interview, I read out a passage, and I assumed at that point that this was some sort of tafsir, some sort of explanation of the Quran. Mind you, when I read that the first time, after David Wood promoted it on his channel, I thought that it's in the Quran. So I read the Quran, wasn't in it. So I assumed that this text must be in the Hadith. Started reading Hadith, started researching, couldn't find it within Hadith. So then I thought some sort of explanation, some sort of tafsir, but it wasn't even that. So there you go. In the end, ultimately, it was some person that wrote that hundreds and hundreds of years after the Quran has been revealed. And therefore, yeah, people jump to conclusions. They hear something and assume, oh, okay, so this is the religion of Islam now. Of course, there are very, very different schools of thought. There are different perspectives. Thank you very much again. Different perspectives, different opinions, but this is simply not what Islam is to me at all. The way that I understood Islam for now, and yet again, no, I haven't converted, nor am I a scholar, it's just my personal perspective, hence the channel's name. But the way that I understood it, it's simply the purest form of monotheism we have at the moment. Like, that's basically it. It stems from Abraham, and it identifies the tradition, so to speak. It identifies the red thread. It identifies what the pure message was that Abraham came with, that Moses came with, that Jesus came with. It identifies what religion essentially is. And it pinpoints that religion is not a man-made fabrication, essentially, where we deify a golden calf or we deify men, but we rather remind ourselves of our innate nature, which Muslims call the fitrah, and we remind ourselves of the pure worship of one God. So this is how I see Islam. And so now, of course, you have different law sets, you have different regulations, you have different philosophies, yada, yada, yada. And for that, ask the scholars, right? So I have absolutely no idea about those deep, deep subjects. I simply can say what Islam means to me, what is appealing to me, how I understood it, and what I came to believe about Islam after doing my own research. And it doesn't resonate at all anymore when I see David Wood talking about it. That being said, David Wood deleted his channel, so he's not active anymore anyways. But that being said, he did a lot of damage, but a lot of good as well, because I used to watch David Wood, and that essentially motivated me to finally read the Quran by myself and to understand why this religion is so extremely evil, right? And after I researched it myself, I couldn't find the evil, I couldn't find the devil, quite the opposite. I found something very, very beautiful, I have to say. Okay, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Super chat is £2 by, I don't know what this name means. It's Dot. So I'm going to call you Dot. Thank you very much. Question, will your wife and kids, it's just one kid, convert to Islam with you? So Allah guides who He wills. I haven't converted, reverted, so that's between me and God. My wife is a Christian. If she wants to stay a Christian, that's absolutely fine. Ruba Nashabe donated 20 Aussie dollars. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And again, no question attached. Guys, as I say all the time, please attach a question, because like that, it will be read. Like that, we can address it right away. But thank you very much for the generous donation. I appreciate it. Let me give you guys an applause. Thank you. Parents Teach super chatted 5 Canadian dollars. Hi Bobby, I've seen some people believe Islam more after videos about jinn and responses to the Quran. Okay, yeah, I reacted to one jinn video. It's not up yet. Yeah, it should be up next week, God willing. And there I address jinns and my personal experience with what I believe to be jinns. So stay tuned for that one. Next week, God willing, it should be up. Thank you very much for the donation. Hammernail donated $1 Australian. Thank you very much. Greetings to Aussie. No question attached yet again. Tamim Azizi super chat £5. Thank you, Tamim. Have you seen a good response to criticisms from people like David Wood, AP, about Muhammad Islam? I haven't seen any good responses yet. Hello from the UK. Cheers. Hello to the UK. I've seen a few, but I would have to lie now because I can't come up with the channel's name. I've seen certain responses that were definitely clarifying some things, but I really can't tell you any names. This was already maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago when I saw certain responses to them. Yeah, unfortunately, I really cannot tell you any specific channel's name. But they're out there, that's for sure. Hammernail, again, $1 Australian. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow, the chat is exploding, man. Almost 400 viewers. That's pretty big for my channel. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. As I said, I'm a bit tired today, but I'm going to try to bump up my energy. I didn't know that I have so many viewers here. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Dankeschön. Junaid Gondal tipped almost $12. Thank you very much. Salam alaikum, Bobby. Alaikum salam. Keep up the good work. You are the one in thousands who are truthful to themselves and have the courage to be unbiased and genuinely look for the truth. Brother, I wish I could hug you. Love and prayers for you. Virtual hug back. Come here, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. Comments like this, they're meaningful to me. Thank you very much. Comments like this are meaningful to me, but I take them with a grain of salt because I want to remind everybody that our egos get triggered very, very fast. So therefore, when I get messages like this, I appreciate it, but I want to redirect all that praise to God. That's how I do it, always. So thank you very much, man. I don't think I'm one in thousands. I'm sure there are plenty of people that read the Quran. They don't have a platform like I do here, so they don't speak about it. But yeah, God willing, many, many people will shift their perspectives. I'm truly convinced of that, to be honest. Because lately we've seen such a shift. And thank you very much. I'm going to read it out in a second. And Islam is starting to be perceived differently, I believe. There is almost like a renaissance, it seems. Many Christians, many Christian apologists, they truly see out of a sudden Islam in a different light because I believe that we have a common enemy at the moment, right? So if we look at this modern day pop culture, end time scenario, liberalism, LGBTQ, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I think that the truly faithful find companions with each other and they find people that are fighting for the same cause. And therefore many Christians, I believe, will get to appreciate Islam. Nevertheless, I'm rambling here. I truly appreciate your words, bro, as I said, but I want to redirect all the praise to God, and I'm convinced that other people, they, God willing, will research it just like I did or have done that already. Anyways, thank you very much. Meshal Alesha super chatted $2. Are you against? I can't read it out, guys. So I'm going to censor myself because otherwise you know what is happening here on this beautiful platform of free speech. Are you against psych peep or any type of drop peep? You get it, right? So am I against it? I am not against nor for it. What happened is that in 2011, I had a terminal sickness. It was absolutely terrible. I was at the brink of suicide. I was partially paralyzed. I had an autoimmune disorder that left me with fever. Everything that you can imagine, basically, I had. I was super sick. And during that time, those substances saved my life. So there's not a recommendation. That's simply what happened to me. I did it in a legal context as well, yes, and they saved my life. So therefore, to be against them would be hypocritical. But what I realized about them is ultimately, for me personally, that... Thank you very much. That as the shamans, the medicine men in the jungles of the Amazon say, those are medicines, right? So if you're sick, yes, they could make sense out of that shamanic context. However, why do we get sick? So when I got so sick, I was deeply, heavily invested in partying, using all kinds of substances, etc., etc. Criminality, certain things that are definitely not the right path, and then I got sick. So being sick, then yes, those medicines helped me out of that sickness, for sure. And as you can see, I'm kind of talking very, very slowly and describing the things as much as I can, but unfortunately on this platform I really cannot without them taking down my channel, which they did a few weeks ago yet again. So yeah, anyways, my whole issue with those substances is that why do we get to that place where we have to use them? If we wouldn't be in a sick state, individually, spiritually, as a society, we wouldn't need them. We would be healthy, and then we wouldn't need any medicine. Medicines are for sick people, and that's what I see. Even medicinal marijuana, I think I can say that here, can help certain people, yes, for sure, if they are sick. But recreational use and smoking every day, why would you have to do that, right? There's something seriously wrong with you if you think you need to ingest such a psychoactive plant every single day. And that's the whole point. So no, I'm not against them. I'm not for them either. I'm saying that we should address ourselves first, of course, and then look into our society, our social environment. Why are we so sick that we then need to go to those extremes? So ultimately, I say if we follow the right path, then we're not going to get sick to that extent that we need those medicines. That's my perspective on it at the moment. So I'm neither for nor against, even though, yes, they saved my life. And that's all I can say here. Guys, on that note, I'm really thinking about switching platforms, maybe opening a Rumble account or something where I can at least do the live streams. My reaction videos, I can edit if there is something that I said and make it YouTube friendly. But for my live streams, I'm really thinking about changing platforms. Let's see. Agarth and Alchemy tipped again $1. Thank you very much. Says, thanks so much. I fully agree that I'm a monotheist, a submitter to God. The Quran is truthful and perfect. It's why I believe it can be used as a tool to remove the impurities in the previous scriptures. God's way is consistent. Yeah, we absolutely agree here, and that makes you a Muslim. That's what it is. You're a submitter to God. That's literally what a Muslim is. And if you see the Quran as something that corrects the impurities, so to speak, of previous scriptures, and that God's way is consistent, Allah's way is never changing, Allah's pattern is never changing, then yes, you're a Muslim. That's what it is. A Muslim is a monotheist. Thank you very much for the donation. Irshad Tayyip super chatted 0.95 JOD. I don't know what that is, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the donation, my friend. Pixel City Art, good to see you. Donated $32.41, the biggest donation of today, tonight, or wherever you might watch this from. Applause, thank you. And says, hi Bobby, it's nice to see you live streaming again. Yeah, it's nice to be back as well, man. I should do this much more often. It has been so busy. I'm gonna try to come online much more often. And on top of that, I want to line up some interviews as well, get some guests onto my show again. Can't wait to see your Thailand vlogs as a carnivore. Lord, God bless you and your family. Peace, brother. Thank you so much, man. I really have to start vlogging. I filmed a lot of things being on the road with my buddies, but this is not really for a vlog. This is much more... yeah, private. Anyways, thank you very much for the generous donation, bro. I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to film as much as I can here in Thailand, that's for sure. Being in Thailand, we're drinking rock mountain water. Very delicious. No, I'm not sponsored. This stuff costs 10 cents, but very good. More sparkles than water. That's how sparkling water should be. Okay. Pixel City Art, thank you very much. Pochinene, super chatted $20. Thank you so much. Did you get goosebumps when you read the Quran? Thank you very much. I'm gonna read it out in a second. Did you get goosebumps when you read the Quran the first time, and how easy was it to understand the text as a first-time reader? How are the hadiths going for you so far? There were definitely moments where I had goosebumps for sure. How easy was it to understand the text? I mean, I read a translation, right? I have to say that. So therefore, for me, it was very easy. I mentioned this before as well, that only one surah was basically enough for me to get the memo, right? The memo of monotheism, not attaching partners. But reading every surah, reading the whole Quran, has a transformative effect, I really believe. There is something about it that just transforms you. Very interesting. Haven't read anything like it prior. And thank you very much. Gonna read it out in a second again. And how are the hadiths going so far? So far so good, man. I'm just reading. But I have to admit that it's just not as captivating to me. It's just really not what fascinates me. So hadiths, yeah, it's interesting, some historical evidence, if you will, but that's really not what resonates with me. What resonates with me is the timeless message of the Quran, the pure monotheism, as I said, not attaching partners, etc., etc. And now the stories about Muhammad, they're entertaining, they're interesting, but that's not really what resonates with me. What resonates with me is this pure message of God, this clear line. That's so amazing to me. That's what's beautiful to me. That's why I'm not against the hadiths, as I said. I'm researching, I'm learning, I'm reading, but it just doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't have the same writing style either. The Quran is very, very unique. So I personally love the Quran, and the hadiths are extra. It's okay. It's interesting to see, but that's really not what this whole journey is about for me, I have to say. Thank you very much for the donation, for the generous one. I appreciate it. Leo Baboy donated $5. Thank you very much. Alright, Bobby. If you become Muslim one day, soon inshallah, he says, what things will be changed in your life and what will you do in your daily life? For example, will you debate or give dawah? Very, very interesting question. So first and foremost, we don't know if I will convert or not. If so, no, I wouldn't give dawah, because what I learned when I reverted, so to speak, to Christian Orthodoxy, when I found back to my own faith and started actually practicing my faith, I started giving dawah, if you will. I started evangelizing, and now looking back, I have to cringe, because I was brand new, right? I didn't know much about it at all, so I didn't even fully grasp the concept of the Trinity. I don't think that anybody does, but at least I really know that I didn't grasp the Trinity. Either way, I tried, and I was already evangelizing, talking about orthodoxy, how true it is, how important it is, etc., etc. So no, this time around, this is a very, very personal journey. I was hesitant at first if I should do reaction videos or not, but after I saw the responses and the support and the feedback, of course it's beautiful to see, man, I'm not gonna lie, and this is why I do the reaction videos publicly. But the matter of faith is personal, man. It's so personal to me, so I don't think that I, even if I would convert, give dawah, because now I know better. I would leave the dawah to actual scholars or people that truly research the field for years and years and years on end. I believe that this is how it should be done. I don't see myself in the position to do that at all. I really don't want to be in the same position as I was back in the day, as I said, just finding back to faith or finding a new faith in that sense and then being the representative. Not at all, man. I would say that I would continue with my channel, God knows how, but I wouldn't focus on dawah. Definitely not. And the other question was, would you debate? No, even there I wouldn't debate, because, as I said, it's a very, very personal matter. Thank you very much. It's a very personal matter. And I have to paraphrase here. I don't remember the exact quote of the Quran, but it went something that, to God we will be returned. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. To God we will be returned, and then there God will clarify for us where we disputed, where we discussed, right? And yeah, I leave the debates to the people that want to debate. I see that if somebody is truly convinced of the Trinity, there is literally nothing you can do about it, right? And that is fine. That's his path. I haven't chosen the path for them. That's their path. If somebody is Jewish and they don't accept Jesus nor Muhammad, hey, that's up to them then. If somebody is a Buddhist, that's their path. It's not me to decide. The Quran states as well, Allah guides who he wills. So I just leave that to the people. I do my thing, and I have absolutely no motivation at all to debate with them and tell them, hey, listen, but 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. We all know that, right? It's very, very simple. But if you want to believe that, then believe that. So no, at the moment, no ambitions at all. I'm very, very happy the way that it is, that I finally came to a spot, even though I'm doing this publicly, I still have my personal space where I explore the faith by myself. And that is so important, because it keeps it congruent for myself. It keeps it authentic. Otherwise, oh man, you have to distinguish between online life and real life, even though I always am the way that I am. Right now, as you see, I'm sitting in my bedroom here, kind of tired of the family trip, and I'm just talking to you like I'm talking to my friends, literally the same way. Aside from the censorship on here, but otherwise literally the same way. But still, faith is something that happens internally. Faith is something that is happening between you and God alone. And therefore, nah man, not this time around. Definitely not this time around. I did many mistakes when I became fully Orthodox Christian, and I don't want to make the same mistakes. So, nah, definitely not. Like, if I accept that message for myself, it's myself. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Manfred, thank you very much for the $2. Hello, Bobby. In what ways did you experience God while on Skype-calls? Love your videos. Praise God. The way that I experienced God in those spiritual experiences was a pure unity. To put it into words is absolutely impossible. It will always sound either confusing, or people that are very dogmatic will feel offended. But ultimately, no matter how you speak it, it just sounds wrong. That's the issue with such experiences. So, to keep it as simple as possible, the way that I experienced God during those spiritual experiences was the purest form of unity you can imagine. But hey, spoiler, you actually cannot imagine it. Right? Maybe we should say what God is not. I think that would simplify it, or maybe make it even more confusing for some. In this world, we are in a duality, if you will, in a separated state. Some might say that that is the illusion itself, and it might be. Nevertheless, we experience a separation, right? The first separation is when we are born, we are torn out of the womb of our mother, and then the umbilical cord is cut. So that is a very brutal, a very harsh form of separation already. Then the only thing we are seeking for is a unity yet again. So we start suckling on our mother's breast, and the hug, the embrace. Thank you. And the hug, the embrace of our mother gives us this sense of unity yet again. Then we go throughout life simply seeking other people's company, socializing, hugging, getting kisses, kissing, until we get matured, and then we reach some sort of unity yet again when we have sex, essentially. And we fuse to one flesh, if you will. The Bible states as well, to become one flesh. So ultimately, if you look around, everything is in a separated state, and we're just seeking unity, 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 unity. We are full of need, full of desire, so to speak. We get hungry. We need to fill ourselves with something up, so we feel complete yet again. But God has none of that. That's basically it. God is never lonely, God is never tired, God is never separated from anything. There is nothing he can be separated from. He is essentially all-encompassing, all-in-one. He is one, but even saying one is not enough, because he transcends even one, because one is a human concept, yet again. So, yeah, that's basically how I experienced God, and I hope that makes some type of sense. The exact opposite of this creation, the exact opposite of separation. One. Pure oneness. And this is why I never was able to convince myself of the Trinity. I really tried. I tried to believe it, I defended it, even though I couldn't believe it. But there is no such thing within God, out of my perspective. There is no Trinity. From a Christian perspective, some apologists will say that in order for God to be loving, there needs to be a subject. So God and the Son, they're eternal and they love each other through the Holy Spirit forever. That's already a human concept. There's already this human concept of lack, but there is absolutely no lack in God. God is the maximum saturation of everything in one, and then it transcends everything. That's how I experienced God. And to experience God, you dissolve. You cannot experience God in your everyday consciousness. Absolutely impossible. So that's why such substances can actually lead to such an encounter, because you're dying when you see God. That's how it feels. You're essentially dying within that spiritual experience. There is no Bobby anymore witnessing that oneness. It's absolutely impossible to witness that oneness, because otherwise there would be something outside of that oneness, which would then be Bobby. But now we're getting into very, very deep philosophical metaphysics. I'm going to cut it off here, and I hope this explained it a little bit, as much as we can. We are limited human beings. Thank you very much, Manfred. Agarth and Alchemy, thank you very much. Thank you guys so much for your support here. It's absolutely amazing, really. I wish I could be a little bit more hyped and excited today, but as I said, I'm very, very tired. But I wanted to reconnect with you guys, so thank you so much for your ongoing support here. It truly means a lot. Thank you. 426 viewers. That's crazy, man. Thank you, guys. Agarth and Alchemy, thank you. Indeed, I am a Muslim, says Agarth and Alchemy. See? So not an Abrahamic monotheist only, but a Muslim. I recommend Rockfin as well for the uncensored live streams. Rumble works too. Yeah, thanks for that. Rockfin, I didn't manage to set up the account. I think I'm going to stick with Rumble. We will see, God willing. But yeah, you're definitely Muslim, for sure. Zeshan Altaf Bek super chatted. I don't know if this is yen, to be honest, man, but 100 of it. Thank you very much, brother. I truly appreciate it. Bobby, love the way you researched everything. That's the correct way. Always eagerly waiting for your videos. God bless you. Thank you so much, brother. God bless you too. Yeah, that's what I love about Islam, I have to say, or this journey with Islam, is that you actually can research it and you can find answers. So this might sound, again, kind of silly to normal people, but with other religions, oftentimes you're researching and you do not find an answer at all to your questions. It's very, very vague, right? And so with Islam, you're researching and you actually find an answer. You might not like the answer, but there is definitely an answer. And that's what I really, really appreciate about it. And this is why the research is fun for me. So I actually encourage people researching Islam, because you will be amazed that you get answers to everything. It's such a stark contrast to researching any other type of religion. Like Buddhism, for example, right? You get more questions than answers. So, yeah, thank you very much, Zishan. I appreciate it, brother. God bless you too. John Thomas donated $10. Thank you so much, John. Would the raw Bobby beat vegan Bobby in a fight, or would he surprise us? The raw Bobby, are we talking about the raw meat Bobby or the raw vegan Bobby against the vegan Bobby? Because the raw vegan Bobby would lose against the vegan Bobby, that's for sure. And the vegan Bobby would lose against the meat-eating Bobby, that's for sure. The vegan Bobby was in pretty good shape, I have to say, at the end. Thank you. Was in pretty good shape in the end, but man, absolutely wrecked. Injury after injury, psychologically just drained, no libido left, so ultimately there was no energy for anything. Instead of fighting, I would rather go to sleep and do yoga in the end, so vegan Bobby would lose any day, that's for sure. Thank you very much, John Thomas. Appreciate the support and the chuckle, man. Pochinene super chatted $5. Thank you very much. Bible says Isa was crucified. Quran says he was not. What do you believe? What do you enjoy the most? Islamic reaction videos or vegan videos? Vegan videos I haven't done in a while. I did appreciate the wave that we had back in the day of anti-vegans, ex-vegans. It was absolutely amazing. It was such a beautiful movement, if you will, to be part of. But veganism kind of died. And lately I didn't have much fun reacting to veganism any longer. So if there will be some sort of big vegan movement again that needs to be destroyed, dismantled, I'm the man for that, no worries. I will be back. I'll be back. But at the moment, nah, I'm good with Islamic reaction videos. I have a lot of fun reacting to them, and there's always content to react to, which is awesome as well. And I have great support here of people that actually send me videos, so I don't have to search for them all day long. With vegan videos, it became so tiresome, man. I was looking at vegan videos, YouTube, Google, searching, and I couldn't react to another 19-year-old chick in yoga pants eating a Buddha bowl. It was just very boring in the end. Not exciting any longer. So at the moment, Islamic reaction videos is definitely a lot of fun, to be honest, and I learn a lot. Not every video, but there are some gems, for sure. About the crucifixion, man, that's a great question as well, because I'm not convinced either way, I have to say. I don't know. That's the reality of things. I really don't know. Was he crucified? Was he not? I wasn't there. That's it. And that's what I love about the pure monotheistic message, that it's not bound to history. It's not bound to it, right? It's not a historical claim per se. If you follow Christianity, you have to base your whole belief system on the premise that Jesus was crucified and then he rose for your sins. That's that. But you weren't there, so you have to put your faith into that statement, a historical statement. It's very, very tough. It's very, very tough, right? So if I say, hey, Stalin killed so and so many people, and you have to base your faith on that. Thank you very much. I wasn't there, man. Could be. So maybe the history books lie, maybe not. I don't know. And to base my faith on that is very, very tricky. On the other hand, with the Islamic declaration of faith that God is one alone, that's something that transcends time. And this is something that I resonate with a lot. So therefore, the crucifixion itself, I don't know. I wasn't there. I will research it further. Ultimately, even the Quran, it doesn't really speak about crucifixion in that sense, that the whole event didn't happen. It could have happened, or it appeared to them that it happened. It's really besides the point. Thank you very much. Going to read it in a second. I really want to know which currency that is. It's besides the point, I believe, because the real point is that God raised Jesus to himself. Right? That's what I got out of the Quran. So that's what's important to me. That essentially the enemies were not successful and that God raised him and he is victorious, so to speak. So that's a beautiful message and shows that God doesn't need a blood sacrifice. Because that's the main hiccup that I have with the crucifixion, that God essentially needs a blood sacrifice in order to forgive us. And that to me doesn't make sense. Because God, if he really needed to forgive us, which I don't believe either, but if he really needed to forgive us, I would believe that he would just forgive us. Why would he have to send his son, that is not even his son only, but is himself at the same time, and then he would need to be crucified by his creation in order to then forgive his creation. So yeah, that's very mystical and an epic story, but it doesn't resonate with me. I don't see it, simply. And that's why I'm saying that the crucifixion itself, did it happen? Did it appear to have happened? That's not really the point. For me, it's the point that God raised Jesus and he didn't actually need a blood sacrifice in order to forgive us. Yeah, that resonates more with me. Thank you very much for the donation, yet again. Odayalame, tipped $1. Thank you very much. Hey man, watch these 2 videos please. They will clarify a lot of things. Islamic schism of the channel Kings and Generals. I heard that before, man. I definitely gonna save it to my playlist. And why am I a Shia for the channel Ahlul Bayt Center of Toledo? I think this will give you some new things. Thank you very much. I will definitely save it to my playlist. And as I said, I'm absolutely open to react to Sunni and Shia videos. I personally have no interest to join either. Thank you very much. As I said in the Sheikh Uthman interview, for me personally, the beauty of the Quran was that we're talking about believers and non-believers, Muslims and non-Muslims, and we're not talking about sects within Islam. So the whole Shia-Sunni debate, for me personally, not that interesting after all. I will look into it for sure, but it's dependent on history. So it's dependent on who are the right successors, who should lead the caliphate, etc., etc. For me, that's really not that interesting. As I said, I'm not such a history buff. I like the timeless messages, the messages that transcend time. Anyways, thank you very much. I saved them. I'm gonna react to them, God willing. Thank you. Akil X donated $5. Thank you very much. May the peace and blessings of Allah be with you, my brother. Watching your videos and listening to your life story, I am in awe of how Allah brought you closer to Him. Allah truly guides who He wills. You are in my every prayer. Love and hugs from UK. Come here, bro. Let me hug you. Thank you very much, brother. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hey, if my journey is of value to anybody that is truly humbling, I appreciate it. That's all I can say. People don't really get it. I visited a couple of islands here in Thailand, as I said, with my buddies, and I got recognized. Thank you very much. I'm gonna read it out in a second. And I got recognized, and this happened a lot. I got recognized in Thailand, I got recognized in France, I got recognized in Bulgaria, I got recognized in Portugal. So basically, thank you very much. So yeah, I got recognized in plenty of places. Of course, I'm not famous or anything. Thank God, actually. But I got recognized here and there. And for me, it's always strange because I don't feel like a YouTuber at all. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, but I don't feel like I am a YouTuber or, yeah, a famous person, quote unquote. People write me sometimes and they're like, wow, I'm talking to a famous person. Nah, dude, definitely not, man. I'm just a regular human, and especially within the religious community, we know that God judges us, right? So, yeah, I'm not anything different than anybody else, and not better in any type of way, and we all have our shortcomings. So, yeah, it's always strange for me when people see me as this Bobbysperspective guy, man. It's kind of weird. But yeah, anyways, nevertheless, I know I'm public, I know I'm here, and therefore that for you, Akil, watching my videos and live story, it brings some sort of value to you is fascinating to me at the same time, and very, very humbling, I really have to say. So I'm happy that it resonates, man. I really am. God bless you. Thank you. Abdullah donated 18 Emirate dollars. Are they dollars? I'm not too sure, but Emirate currency. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam from Dubai. You should react to Sheikh Uthman's research video on the splitting of the moon. I heard that many, many times. And yeah, I should. I'm gonna save it up and, God willing, react to it. Or maybe watch it in my spare time. Hope you revert very soon, inshallah. Thank you very much, brother. Inshallah, we will see. Gulam Mozamil has super chatted 100. I really have to check this currency, but I cannot copy it, unfortunately, here in my window. I'm curious to know what this is. It looks like yen. Anyhow, thank you very much, Gulam. Since you're struggling, Quran says, obey Allah and the Messenger. There's Allah has ordained to us to obey Prophet. Hadith is Prophet commands for all our affairs. Yeah, as I said, I am not against hadiths or anything on those lines. I simply said that by reading the Quran, I got the memo. And the rest, I'm sure that there are plenty of hadiths that can give additional guidance, that can give additional information, etc., etc. But yeah, just by reading the Quran, I feel content, man. I'm happy. And I don't feel like I need much more. Even though this comes from somebody that actually reads the hadiths, right, mind you. And if you watch my Christian Reacts to German Muslims video, that's what I was surrounded by, right? Many, many German, quote-unquote, Muslims that have absolutely no idea, never read the Quran. They never read the Quran. They have absolutely no clue what is going on. So I'm not even a Muslim, but I read the whole Quran. I read a bunch of hadith. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm simply sharing, again, my perspective. For me personally, what resonates is the Quran. The hadiths are historical texts, and that can be useful. Anything can be useful, man. It's an add-on. It's nice, but the Quran for me is just extremely powerful, and that's what resonates. Thank you very much for the donation, bro. I appreciate it. Yunan super chatted £5. Says, love you, Bobby. Thank you very much. Yunan, much love back. Appreciate it. Abdullah Al Khatani super chatted 25. Thank you very much. Super chatted, I think, Qatar currency. Why did God send thousands of prophets if we were guilty in the first place? Why did he not sacrifice himself from the beginning and shorten the issue? Does this continue? Let me just double check. It's kind of cut off there. Let me double check. No, that seems to be it. Yeah, as I said already, for me that doesn't resonate either. I was always on the search essentially for the eternal message, and I was convinced even before reading the Quran that that message cannot change. It doesn't make any sense to me at all that the message changes in that sense. If we're talking about certain law sets for certain times, yeah, sure, they can change a bit. But the pure message of God, the true path to God, if you will, cannot change at all. It's absolutely impossible. And this is why I saw within Christian apologetics so many contradictions, of course. So what is with the people before Jesus? Yeah, well, for them, he went to Hades, he went to hell, and he preached there, essentially, to them to believe in him, right? What's with people that never heard the gospel? Yeah, well, they probably go straight to hell. Who knows, right? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. So the Quranic message of having thousands of messengers sent to people with a monotheistic message, it was always the same. There is absolutely nothing else. It makes just perfect sense to me, I have to say. And that makes perfect sense to me. Why would God consistently change his message and essentially mislead the Jews as well to such an extent, right? Make them monotheists, make them the quote-unquote chosen people, and then make them deny his son, himself, then kill his own son to forgive everybody. And now the sins are forgiven, but now we're living in a society that is more sinful than ever. Yeah, that doesn't add up to me at all. No matter how I look at it, I cannot believe it. So that's basically what it is. I really tried. I read the Bible every single day. I went to liturgy, went to church, went to Mount Athos, which is like the Mecca of Christian Orthodoxy. And yeah, just didn't do the job, didn't do the trick. I just couldn't believe it, no matter what I did. That's that. Thank you very much for the generous super chats, guys. I really, really appreciate it, man. Applause! Okay. And yes, guys, again, I have to repeat, I'm only looking at the super chats. But as you can see, I'm just reading through super chats, Streamlabs donations, and I still haven't read them out, all of them. So I'm really trying here. I have absolutely no possibility to look into the normal chat. It's impossible. So they will always be prioritized. You can donate as little as $1 if you want your question answered. As little as $1, like that, you support the channel here and you get your questions answered. I think that's a win-win situation. So thank you very much. Branimir Bashev, super chat £5. Thank you very much. Branimir Bashev, are you Bulgarian? Please watch Dr. Jeffrey Lang on the Quran and atheist perspective. You're going to learn a lot from it. Please, God, guide us all. Amen. That is very true. Please, God, guide us all. Amen. And I think I heard of it. I'm going to save it to my playlist as well. God willing, I'm going to check it out. Dr. Jeffrey Lang. Yeah, I think I watched it. Thank you very much. Odayalame, tipped again $1. Thank you very much. The thing, man, is not about being a Shia or a Sunni. The Quran is a very rich book. So we cannot try to follow anyone who says this is okay or this is not. There is hadith that is called the Takhalin hadith. It states the Quran and the, let me scroll down, and the descendants. Okay, I would have to look that up. Takhalin hadith, I've never heard of that. And I'm not sure I fully understand the sentence, so we cannot try to follow anyone who says this is okay or this is not. I don't know, man. I really don't know what that is addressed towards too. So up until now, as I said, I'm not looking into the explanations of the Quran by scholars so far. I just read it, didn't read it in Arabic. I mentioned this previously as well. To fully understand it, I would have to understand Arabic, I believe. But nevertheless, the memo I surely got. Do not attach any partners to God. And that's what I'm definitely adhering to. Call me a monotheist, bro. Thank you very much for the donation. Javid, good to see you, brother. Bro code Dono. Dono code bro. Thank you very much, brother. I truly appreciate it. You always support here, and I can't believe it, man. I just double checked. It has been over a month that I streamed yet again, and last live stream, Javid and we had a monologue basically. Javid was the biggest supporter of the stream. Thank you so much. I I really appreciate it. Okay, I think I read out all the super chats so far. Let me just double check that I didn't miss anything. Then I'm going to try to respond to a chat or two if I can. But as I said previously, super chats, there we are, super chats will be prioritized nevertheless. Javid donated $3. Do you even stem cell, bro? No, unfortunately not, man. Unfortunately, that's not in my budget yet. But I've been looking into certain treatments here in Thailand. There are definitely some options, but stem cells are extremely expensive, man. I would definitely like to do that, but thank God, man, my injuries, they're really clearing up over time. The more meat I eat, the better I feel, thank God. My body is healing well. I feel really, really good. I have to say that I feel, thank God, as good as I haven't felt in years, man. I can't really pinpoint it. It might be being in Thailand. It might be being a dad, seeing my son flourish. I'm very happy with my wife. Absolutely amazing. As I said, had some friends over that I haven't seen in 8 years, man. I'm feeling really, really good at the moment. Thank God. Thank God. Really amazing. So stem cells would be a plus. God knows. Thank you very much again, Javid. Good to have you here. We have more super chats. Abdullah, 18 Emirate dollars, I'm going to call them. If I may ask, is there a final doubt that is stopping you from taking Shahada? If it's a personal issue, you don't need to answer it in this public forum. Yeah, no worries, bro. If it's too personal, I wouldn't answer it. It's a combination of a few things, I would say. So, many things I discussed with Sheikh Uthman, and I got clarification for most of them, I would say. As I said already, he did a very, very good job. Pragmatic, pretty clear as well. Thank you very much. Again, I'm going to read out in a second. But ultimately, it's a combination of some things. So, I never approached anything like this in my life. What do I mean by that? No matter what it was in my life, I find out about something and I jump into it right away. I wouldn't hesitate one bit. No matter what it is, really, believe me. So, back in the day when I found out about bodybuilding, boom, the next day I was in the gym and I stuck with it and I accepted it as the ultimate truth, believe it or not. Really. I thought the ultimate truth of humanity is to take control over our biological bodies. I know this sounds silly, but as a teenager, then early 20-year-old, I believed it's the absolute truth. I was looking down on people that ate normal, quote-unquote, people that were eating bread. What are you doing? It's insane. What, you're not even eating 2 grams of protein per body weight? Insane. Crazy people. Normies. And bodybuilding was my religion, essentially, back then. So I jumped to conclusions, essentially. And I was evangelizing, if you will, telling people how awesome bodybuilding is and how crappy everything else is. I had that during diet explorations as well. When I went vegan, for example, that became my religion. Things that I cannot name here, certain substances, became my religion in a sense. So I was very, very quick to jump to conclusions. I was younger and I had no patience. So if I would accept something as truth, it became truth in my reality, ultimate truth. It became God, and I talked about it 24/7. I convinced many, many people on the road, etc., etc. Point of story is, with Islam, is the first time that I'm really taking my time. And it's absolutely beautiful like that. I started researching Islam when I was still in Portugal, man. So I think, let me check. Man, I think it's already 2 years by now. I don't want to lie, I have to double check. But I think right now it could be already roughly 2 years. And that is crazy. Researching something for 2 years straight and not jumping into it, not identifying with it, right? Because I'm not identified with it. But I'm researching it objectively. This is hands down the first time that I've ever done something like this. I've never done anything like it. And that's why. So for me, I learned my lesson with my religion back in the day. I learned my lesson with diets. I learned my lesson with substances. I learned my lessons with sports, plural here. It wasn't only bodybuilding. And therefore, I come to the conclusion, nope, not this time. This time I'm going to take all the patience I have. This time I'm going to research as much as I can to not then say after a few years, oh well, this is not for me. And then just sit there again in the shambles of what I have created. So I'm very, very cautious because I've been through this before. That's what that is. I'm a guy that loves to find truths, but ultimately likes to find the ultimate truth. Unfortunately, I'm a guy that saw multiple things as the ultimate truth and then came to find out that it wasn't the ultimate truth. And I am not in a position anymore where I want to go through that process. Especially not being a family father. I have a huge responsibility to guide my family, to guide my wife, my kids, God willing, future kids. And I want to guide them to the truth. And therefore I have such a responsibility to research such an important subject as changing a religion more than anything else that I've ever done in my life. I don't take it lightly. If I would be 19 or 20 years old, hey, sure, maybe I would be Muslim right now. But maybe after a few years, I wouldn't be anymore. That could be as well. And we've seen people, and I heard, that there is even a 50% dropout rate in people that convert to Islam. And ultimately, that's not what the Muslim community can want either. So why would you focus on conversion rates? You should focus... Thank you. You should focus, of course, on people sticking to the religion, right? And if 50% drop out again, and then you have a bunch of ex-Muslims, it's not good. It's not good for the religion if you have so many people just dropping out, maybe because of the lack of knowledge, lack of conviction, etc., etc. So, yeah, everybody that wants me to convert, I appreciate that, because I know you want good for me. I get it. But at the same time, you would have to understand that you want quality, not quantity here. You want somebody that is committed to the cause. You don't want somebody that jumps into it and then after 2 years says, oh, well, it's not for me. That's definitely not what I want to do with Islam. And I don't want to play around with that religion at all. I think that religion should be taken seriously. And therefore, I don't want to play around with it. Because, think about it, honestly. Now you're looking at my channel. You like me, maybe. You say, wow, what a nice guy this Bobby is. I hope he converts, inshallah. And then I convert. And then 1 year later, I find something. Maybe I'm not firm in my faith. And I drop out. Right? God forbid, but just assume. Then you're going to hate me. And you're going to look at it, why? And then this is going to be a stain on your religion, so to speak. So what have I done then to your religion right now? Right now you're a Muslim, I'm not. Imagine I enter and then I exit. I ditch the religion. That would be such a bad look for Islam. Not good at all. And that I want to prevent as well. So I need to be 100% firm in my conviction. 100%. And this time in a sustainable fashion. And that will take time. And over time comes true conviction, true knowledge. And then if the day comes, then I will accept. That's how I see it. Thank you very much for the donation. Javid asks, have you tried the carnivore snacks yet? No, haven't, bro. Here in Thailand, haven't imported them either, so I didn't get to try them. Dude, they have a new one called chicken sliders. OMG, they figured it out. Chicken sliders, man, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, I have to check if they can deliver them to Thailand. I probably could, but it will take some time. But no, I haven't gotten the chance. Got a lot of good Thai food, though. Javid again, thank you very much, brother. And carnivore crisps, chicken skin, bro, delicious. Yeah, chicken skin is awesome. I've been eating some chicken skin here. I saw something very perverted, man. Really, really perverted. They made a whole chicken out of chicken skin. So they just took chicken skin here and they reshaped a whole chicken. So you can eat the whole chicken, but enjoy just chicken skin. Pre-perverted stuff, if you ask me. Come on, man. I'm sure it tastes good, but come on, man. You don't have to push it that far. That's food porn, if you know what I mean. Disgusting. Anyways, thank you very much for the donation, brother. I appreciate it. From dusk until spawn, super chat $2. Thank you very much, brother. Unfortunately, no question attached. Javid again, thank you, bro. Bonanza Louis Marco does not argue with flat earthers and crossfitters. They're not saluted, not proper. I almost got kicked off his stream for bringing it up. I listen to his red pill and bodybuilding on a daily basis. Yeah, I didn't even know that he does live streams, to be honest. So I haven't tuned in. I like him, but I definitely don't agree with his red pill and MGTOW stuff, not getting married, etc., etc. I think that's such a fail, essentially, because you fall for the same inverted feminist propaganda. So now you're not gonna get married. Okay, cool. What you gonna do? Have sex out of wedlock? Not gonna create children? What's the point? What's the point, really, looking at it? How does that even make any sense? So you have a bunch of feminists that convinced other females to not get married in their 20s, to not get children, then they're frustrated in their 30s, in their 40s, single. Wow, cool, awesome, you destroyed the family structure, and now you do it to the men as well. Congrats. We have a bunch of degenerates running around having sex, meaningless, no kids, no family structure, no offspring, nothing. Wow, go, you go, feminism, you go MGTOW, absolutely amazing. Ridiculous. AM tipped $1, thank you very much. Did you know that there was a prophet that was buried after Muhammad? Prophet Daniel's last wish was to be buried by the final monotheistic nation. With his dead body, Muslims found the Book of Daniel and translated it. Read about his prophecy on Islam. The Book of Daniel I heard about, but I haven't read it. Yeah, I'm gonna look into it, why not? Prophet Daniel's. Was he an American? What happened between Louis Marco and David Palumbo from RX Muscle? I did see Flat Earther David Weiss on RX Muscle channel. He was recommended to me, but I never really hooked it up. People wanted me to interview David Weiss. He's a Flat Earther. I really don't mind. It's fine. We can talk about anything here. But I don't know what happened between those two guys. No idea. I don't follow any one of them, but I like them both. I appreciate a video or two from them, especially back in the day, but I don't follow them, so I have no idea what's going on. I just saw this popping up here. Am I a Dragon Ball fan? Yes, I'm the biggest Dragon Ball fan there is. Back in the day when we had no smartphones, I actually read the mangas of Dragon Ball. There were 42 books, and I read all of the 42 books. Not only once, but I would read the 42 books from 1 to 42, and then start at 1 again, and then finish at 42, and start at 1 again, and finish at 42, and start at 1 again. And I did that for years and years and years on end, since I was a kid till late teenager. I think even early 20-year-old. So I just never stopped reading Dragon Ball. That was nice. We still had some fantasy, we still had some imagination. Nowadays, we're so used to so much input from the smartphone, man. That's something that I learned as well now. The last 10 days, I essentially did a social media detox, if you will, but not because I planned on doing so. I just stayed away from my phone 99% of the time, and I was just at beaches, mountains, waterfalls, just with friends. Man, that was amazing. Really, this is how life should be. This is how life feels like. What real life feels like. It was quite amazing. I would certainly like to get back to that. But I'm working on YouTube. So I guess it's my burden that I have to be exposed to social media all the time. Okay, let me just double check one more time here, guys. Are you Red Pill? No, I'm not Red Pill. Red Pill is essentially a movement nowadays that is not truly considering marriage. So I'm definitely not Red Pill in that sense. I'm married, see? Yeah. Yeah. What does Red Pill really mean? Honestly, think about it. You find out about the dynamic of women and men. Wow. You understand that women are in their nature submissive and like guys that are dominant. Wow. Mind-blowing stuff. I've never heard that before. Yeah, guys, I'm 35 years old, so I've been through the alpha male BS when I was 20. It's not so interesting after all, once you've been through it and you realize it. So I went through pick-up phases myself as well. I went out to clubs, hitting on chicks, hooking up with many, many girls. Woo, cool. Cool stuff. Having sex with many, many girls. Wow. Amazing. Amazing stuff. But ultimately, what's the point? Yet again, being a man... Thank you very much. Going to read out in a second. Being a man, in my humble opinion here, is about taking responsibility on all levels, right? And taking responsibility is the most gratifying thing you can do. Taking care of a family, supporting that family, financially, physically, is the most beautiful thing you can do. And the sooner you do it, the better it is. I waited way, way too long, in my opinion, but that's again what God decreed for me. I became a dad with 34 years old, on the day, essentially. I was 33, and my birthday is on the 29th of April. I turned 34 then, and my son was born on the 30th, so just one day after me. Ultimately, now looking back again, I cannot change anything, it is what it is, but in an ideal world, I would already have 10 kids. It's the most gratifying thing, the most beautiful thing. Red pill encourages promiscuity, it encourages women, daughters, essentially, now as a dad, becoming sluts. It encourages guys to... They're gonna say you're not looking down on women, you're just doing what you love. But no, the reality is you're gonna start looking down on women because they come easy after a while. Once you figured them out, once you figured the club sluts out, they come easy. And then you just have a bunch of meaningless sex. Yeah, it can feel good. Absolutely. It feels nice. It feels nice to be the man in the club, to hook up with a chick, to bring her home and bang her in one night. Wow, cool, you're the man. Next day doesn't feel that good anymore, and years pass by, and then it doesn't feel good at all anymore. And then you just wasted a lot of time. And you essentially misdirected your energy. You could have taken that energy, put it into something useful, acquire a skill, become great at martial arts, become great at any type of sport, any type of business. But no, you rather go out and just bang chicks all the time. By then ejaculating and getting rid of your semen, you lose more life energy, you lose more motivation, you become essentially a weak man that has no energy for anything else but just running from chick to satisfy his own urges. That's what it boils down to. And then you are in your 30s, 40s, potentially, and you don't have a wife and you don't have children. You don't have anything to come home to. So what's the point? And then you can go to the club again and try to hook up with a 20-year-olds. Okay, cool. And maybe you do. And what's then? Nothing, man. You're gonna die and you're weeded out of existence. It's completely pointless to me. Doesn't make any sense. So the red pill is not so red pill after all. The red pill is understanding what true nature of humanity means. And the true nature of humanity is and always was, of course, a family structure. This is where they lie to you. Because if you look at it, they will show you that we cannot appeal to nature. It's even called an appeal to nature fallacy. How can you appeal to nature? The humans in nature, they just raped and pillaged, they killed each other. But that's not how it works at all. Humans in nature were always tribal. So which means we're always living in a family structure. On top of that, in a natural environment, when people hit puberty, this is when they got married, essentially, in their tradition, and then they got kids. So which means you get kids very, very early, very young, and like that you still have your parents around, have your grandparents around, have your great-grandparents around, and your whole tribe around you. And so no, within that tribe you wouldn't go around and just rape, you wouldn't just go around and kill. That might have happened to some outsiders. It's very, very similar to a wolf pack. If you see a wolf pack, that is a healthy hierarchy, everything is going well. But if you see a lone wolf, then you know that this wolf has been kicked out of the pack, and that wolf is crazy in most instances. So this is the picture that they want to paint of humans, that we are some sort of crazy creature that runs around alone through the woods and is just raping and killing. It's not the case. It's not the case at all. Humans always have been in family structures, and that's the real red pill, if you will, to understand that we always have been in family structures. And in those family structures, you couldn't just go randomly through the village and do your degeneracy. If two people, one man and a woman, would have sex in that village, that's that. They're married now. That's it. Now you're going to create children, you're married. Done. That's it. And that's how it went back in the day. But nowadays, you have condoms, you have all kinds of pills, hormones to not get pregnant. And you have, of course, the social structure that allows it, encourages it. So you have a bunch of people just having random, meaningless sex. And people get hurt, especially women. I met many of them. They are very, very hurt inside. And they lose their self-worth because of it. So, in the long run, nothing red pill about it. The red pill should be about escaping the matrix. But you're not escaping the matrix at all. You're getting even further into the matrix by simply getting addicted to your physical matrix desires. Like, how is that breaking out of the red pill? Hey, make more money. Bang more girls. Red pill. How is it red pill? It's the exact opposite. It's totally blue pilled, man. You're just gonna follow your balls, your urges, your desires in this world. How is that even remotely red pill? Do you understand this? When Neo took the red pill, he escaped all of that. Do you get it? Before that, he was living, admittedly, in the rat race, but nevertheless, he was living in this physical world with its comforts. And then he breaks out of it, and all of a sudden, he is in his flesh body, attached to machines, and he's eating this soy slop outside in this spaceship. So that's breaking out of the matrix, getting away from that physical comfort, right? Disconnect into something perceivably worse. But how is it that you totally immerse yourself into the matrix by eating luxurious food, having the best cars, and banging a lot of girls, and now all of a sudden you broke out of the matrix? That's absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, okay. I hope that answered any question here. David, thank you very much for the support again, brother. What is the point of making a chicken from only chicken skin? What are they trying to avoid? Is it like making a steak out of ground beef? It's just for the taste. It's just for the pure decadency and the pleasure of eating it. Because people love chicken skin, understandably. So therefore they just made a whole chicken out of chicken skin. That's it. It's not some sort of gene mutation or so, right? They literally take the chicken skin and shape it into a chicken-looking creature. So, yeah. It's just for the taste, the way that I understood it. Okay. Bobby, I watched your interview with Sheikh Uthman, and you seem very convinced and ready. Are you ready to accept Islam? Or have you already secretly reverted? Yeah, I already answered that question, man. So you can rewatch the stream. I talked about this in depth. What is, quote-unquote, holding me back. Thank you very much, LR, for the super chat of $3. No question attached yet again. Guys, as always, if you want to support this channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But attach a question. Because like that we have a win-win situation. Like that I can actually answer your question right away. And you support the channel, so everybody wins. Okay. Anyhow, I'm gonna try, guys, as I say always, I'm gonna try to go through the chat here on my phone. And then answer a few of the chats, but super chats and Streamlabs are prioritized. I cannot possibly answer every single question here. We have so many. Thank God, but it's a lot. David, thank you very much, brother, for the generous donation. Your red pill views in German. 99999. Ganz genau so sieht's aus. Yeah, but honestly, what is red pill about that? That's literally what any man wants to do throughout puberty and in their 20s. It's just desire. How did you break out of the matrix now? You're living the matrix to the fullest. It has nothing to do with breaking out of the matrix. That's funny. Yeah, guys, please don't spam the chat box, because I'm really trying to look at a question or two, but if you're spamming, I don't see anything, basically. Thank you very much again, Javid. Appreciate it, brother. Bobby, please stop spammers. I have moderators. I don't know if they're online today, but usually they help me out here. But yeah, yet again, if you use big emojis, etc., that doesn't mean I'm going to answer your question either. But thank you very much, nevertheless. If you know the prophecies of Muhammad and you know they came true, how are you not Muslim? What doubts are holding you back from taking your Shahada? Yeah, as I said, I already explained that. You can rewatch the stream. I talked about it in depth. Wife's opinion on Islam. That's actually very interesting. I should have her on. She should talk about it. But she's taking care of my child. Anyways, she grew up in Senegal. And Senegal is 90% Muslim. So therefore, she was surrounded by Islam in that sense. She is not shocked by, let's say, the aspects of Islam, such as fasting or 4 wives even. She knows many marriages that are conducted like that. And that's why I appreciate her. She's very down to earth and doesn't have that Hollywood romantic, schmomantic, prince and princess, blah blah scenario in her mind, which is very, very refreshing. She always saw herself as a Christian. She went through life having debates and discussions with Muslims, always defending Christianity. Her mother grew up in a monastery, essentially, as a kid. They left her in a monastery among nuns, so she was Christian. Her uncle converted to Islam. He was Christian. Her sister converted to Islam as well, so she's definitely not foreign to Islam. But she always saw herself as Christian, and the main reason for that, I would say, is that she saw Christianity as the message of Jesus, or as the religion of Jesus, and she just resonates with the message of Jesus, or the quotes of Jesus, etc., etc. She believes in one God. She doesn't believe in the Trinity at all. Thank you very much. At first, she was extremely opposed to me, even researching Islam. She was very concerned about it as well, probably due to my nature that I'm jumping into extremes very, very fast. She already saw me screaming Allahu Akbar and blowing something up, basically. But that, after me researching for 2 years, she realized that that's not the case at all. And I think she got a different perspective on Islam as well through me. So therefore, at first she was extremely skeptical, extremely hesitant, opposed to it. We got into some arguments as well because of it. But after all, I just stopped talking about it, essentially, and I'm just doing my own thing. And I think she got a different view on Islam as well through that. But the connection to my wife is, even aside from religion, is due to her having the same values. We are agreeing on the values. We have many differences, of course, and on top of that, she's a woman, I'm a man, so we will always disagree on plenty of things. That's just how the nature between men and women is, and you shouldn't ever debate and discuss with your woman. That's a no-no. But we agree on fundamentals, so we agree on how toxic social media, liberalism, certain leftism, etc., is, veganism, LGBTQism, and we agree on how to raise our child. We agree on nutrition as well, which is super important to me personally, because I don't want to malnourish my child. Now you would say, you're not going to malnourish him in the Western world, in the first world. Yeah, but people don't understand what true nutrition is, so we're feeding our kids organs, real red meat, raw meat, etc., etc., so she agrees on that as well. We just have the fundamentals discussed and set straight. She's not against polygamy in that sense, for example, having other wives, etc., because she grew up in such a scenario. So I'm very, very happy with my wife. And yeah, we'll see where all of this goes. Herdado says, I'm from Bosnia and my wife is from Nigeria. Yeah, mashallah, that's interesting, man. My wife is from Senegal, but she is half Senegalese. She's half Senegalese and her father is French. Yeah, that's why my kid looks whiter than me. He really does. It's crazy. He's a little French boy, man. He's blonde. Really is. My wife is half black and my kid is blonde. That's so weird. I love him. He's the best. Thank you very much, Abdullah. Super chatted 729. Unfortunately, again, no question attached. Guys, attach questions. Attach questions when you're asking something. Thank you so much. When you're super chatting, rather. Javid donated twice. Thank you so much, brother. I'm going to read it out. Both of them in a row. The big hole in the red pill community is bang girls and seek virgins. Men can have a high body count, yet seek virgins. The math doesn't add up. Exactly. However, to be fair, some red pill channels are mostly about monk mode to avoid the feminist court system, etc. Yeah, monk mode, then I wouldn't call it red pill, but I would call it actually being a monk. How about becoming a monk? Go to Mount Athos or into a Buddhist temple if you must and become a monk. So I wouldn't combine that necessarily with red pills. Because what's the point? Like, you're going to live in this society and you're not going to have a family, yet again, and you're not going to have sex. Okay, so now you're just losing. Thank you very much. So as I was saying, now you're just losing, essentially. So you're not having sex, nor do you have a marriage. What are you doing? And you're not going the spiritual path. You're not becoming a real monk. So just sitting, what? Taking care about yourself? That's what you're doing now? You're going to the gym. You're becoming the best version of yourself. It's so ridiculous. What are you doing? It doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, looking at it, even the monk mode is ridiculous because it's not authentic. Then become a monk. But about the high body count thing, yeah, of course it doesn't add up. So if we look at certain people talking about how men should have higher body counts, this is how it is supposed to be, and women are supposed to be virgins, but you're turning those women into sluts by having sex with them. So what is the point, really? How are you breaking the system here, yet again? If you're against degeneracy, then you cannot be participating. That's just how it is. And if you do, then okay, do it behind closed doors and don't talk about it. Because it's incongruent, it's hypocritical, simply. You should never encourage men to have sex with women outside of marriage if you don't want women to be sluts. You're essentially producing sluts. That's what you're doing. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, the next one. Seek a good woman to marry and have kids. Just be careful. No promiscuity, but you're right. Many of the big players in the community, such as Andrew Tate, have that big hole in their message. Yeah, I always get asked to talk about Andrew Tate, etc. I am not too happy to see the late development. I saw... what is his name again? Piers Morgan. Yeah, Piers Morgan, the interview, partially, not the whole thing. And Andrew Tate wasn't apologetic, but he wasn't straight to the point either. He wasn't reaffirming those things that he stood for back in the day. He always said there's some missing context. Nah, man, just own it up. You have all the money in the world. You can back it up. Who cares? Who cares? You already kicked off social media. You have nothing to lose. Just own it and talk about it straight. Own your opinion. So that was really an Andrew Tate that was very unappealing to watch. But aside from that, yeah, of course. Like when you're screaming haram, you're talking about religion, but then you are promoting promiscuity for men. You're promoting having sex with random women. It just... contradiction after contradiction. It doesn't add up. Thank you very much again, Javid, brother. Appreciate it. Abdullah, 729, thank you very much, bro. What's your perspective on the best diet? The best diet is a diet that is as close to your natural predisposition as possible. So a great book to read is Weston A. Price, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. And there you see what certain tribes, certain people that still live in somewhat natural environments have been eaten. That's basically the most perfect diet you can get to look into what your ancestors have been eating. That's it. So ultimately, before agricultural revolution, you see that it's predominantly animal foods, and plants are always processed in certain ways. Fermentation, for example, right? Soaking, etc., etc. And that's how it goes. So minimize carbs. Every time you're hungry, eat high in protein. Eat a bunch of raw animal foods as well, be it raw yogurts, raw milks, raw fish, for example, some raw eggs here and there, raw meat. That's the best diet. The best diet is very, very simple. Focus on animal foods. Keep plenty of them raw as well. You can eat some cooked too. And then plants in a processed way. But with processed way, I'm not talking about processed junk food. chips, etc., but processed, for example, fermentation, pickled, yeah, soaked, etc., etc. And like that, you're in a good way. That's the perfect diet, the best diet. The best diet as close as to your ancestors as you can eat. Simple. Alright, anyways, we're at it already 2 hours almost. I'm gonna tune out. Yeah, it's already super late, guys. I'm gonna tune out in 10 minutes the latest. Okay, we're gonna do 10 more minutes. And then I'm gonna tune out. God willing. And I try to promise to you guys, only God knows, to do more live streams in the future. I really want to amp it up a bit with more guests, etc., etc. Jared, thank you very much again for the generous donation, brother. Troy Casey, the certified health nut, would say the jerk diet is the best diet. The just eat real food diet. Yeah, makes sense, of course. Real food. But yet again, a genetic component plays a role in my opinion. And therefore I would say that ultimately looking into your ancestors makes a lot of sense here. And emulating what they've been doing before agriculture is a really good guideline. So if I look at my grandparents, they already had agriculture. But my granddad, for example, he was eating predominantly rye bread and raw milk, a little bit of eggs, a little bit of meat. That's how he got around, basically. He was smoking as well. He was drinking alcohol too. His own brewed rakia. But this guy, man, he was healthy till the end, really. And yeah, in many ways I'm thinking it's not so much about what you eat, but what you don't eat as well. Because nowadays we're bombarded with so much processed junk. So yes, real food, duh, obviously. I agree with that. But look into what your ancestors have been eating. Passion. Thank you very much. Bayu Maulana has donated IDR. I don't know exactly what that is. Is that Indian rupiah? I'm not sure. 35,000. Thank you very much. Sounds like a big number, but I assume it's not $35,000. But anyways, I'm just gonna check because I really want to know what kind of currencies those are. The one was rupiah before that, right? IDR. Let me see. To euro. One check. Okay. It is Indonesian rupiah. Ah, no way. I've been to Bali, so I used this before actually. Yeah, I remember this. I went to the airport and changed my money. And then I looked at the money and I said, wow, I'm a millionaire. Finally. Yeah, that was 2015. So that was the first time that I finally became a millionaire. Yeah, by getting to Bali. Anyways, thank you very much for the 35,000 rupiah. I just want to support. Hope Allah will guide you. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. And hey, God willing, I really want to make it back to Indonesia. And to Malaysia as well. For sure. So who knows, God willing, at some point maybe I can travel a bit. Thank you very much, Bayu Maulana. I really, really thank you. For the memories as well. Rakia is haram. Of course haram. Alcohol is haram in general. Rightfully so, because the worst, man. Alcohol is pure devil drink. Bobby, in Islam, if you fornicate before marriage, you're not allowed to marry a virgin. Same for women. I think it's very fair. A lot of Muslim brothers and sisters don't know that in the Quran. No, I didn't know that either. Yeah, seems fair to me as well. It's a good deal. Ahmed Khaled Hussein, are you still Orthodox Christian? If yes, how if you don't believe in the Trinity and have other doubts? I believe you are an agnostic now. No, I'm definitely not an agnostic, because believe it or not, even if you're not fully identified with a religion, it doesn't mean that you have to be agnostic in terms of, ooh, I don't know if there is a God. No, I definitely know there is a God. And I'm 100% convinced of that. By the standard, I talked about it prior, by the standard of orthodoxy, wouldn't be able to call myself Orthodox, by the standard of the Orthodox creed, so to speak. But nevertheless, I am a cultural Orthodox Christian. I do see myself as a Christian. Yeah. I see a super chat here. I didn't miss it, but it didn't show up. Let me just double check. Maybe it will still show up. Just 1 second, guys. Here we go. Ah, there it is. Fantastic. Comes from Olisios, who super chatted 400 rupiah, I guess now, right? Indian rupiah. Did you see the news on Germany allowing adhan via loudspeakers in Cologne? No, I didn't know that, and Cologne is my city. So that's new to me. I'm going to give you my perspective on it, but I'm going to give you my old perspective on it as well. Because back in the day in Macedonia, I saw Macedonia as a Christian country, and that's where I'm from. We had the Albanian mosques, the masjids, and they were basically calling to prayer, right? 5 times per day with the adhan. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it because I didn't see it as anything religious. I just saw it as something Albanian. I didn't even understand that this was Arabic. I thought he's speaking in Albanian. And I just found it extremely annoying. I wanted to destroy those mosques if I could. I really wanted to. I wanted to blow them up. That was my vision back then, when I was 16 to 21 or so. I hated it with a vengeance. And I didn't understand why in a Christian country we let that happen. So then there was the talk about having the call to prayer in Germany. And because I already saw what has happened in Macedonia, that was the last thing on earth I wanted to happen. Thank you very much. I'm going to read it out in a second. So I was always against it. Why? As I said, I was identified as a Christian. I thought Islam is the enemy. The Muslims want to kill us. And therefore I didn't want it in our countries, so to speak. The point of the story is, however, I then realized after a while that I'm wrong. And it is because I never was in a Christian country. I thought I'm in a Christian country, but I'm not. Germany is not a Christian country. It's a secularized country. And therefore, under that secular state, government, liberal government, you have freedom of religion. And if you have freedom of religion, you have absolutely no right to make anything stop in that sense, right? Absolutely no right whatsoever. Because a Christian country, yes, a Christian country could say, no, we don't want the adhan here. We don't want any loudspeakers on mosques. We don't even want mosques here. They could say that if they wanted to. But that's not what Germany is. And therefore, because Germany is a liberal country, they cannot complain about Islam, about mosques, about the call to prayer one bit. And that's the thing that people have to understand. So people talk about Christian nations, they talk about National Socialism, they talk about right-wing, they talk about anti-Islam, they talk about this, about that, but they don't talk about their own damn governments that don't even allow their perspective in the first place. It is their governments that allows freedom of religion. Get it? So, and if you like that democracy, you like that liberalism, you like that freedom of religion, then you have to like the call to prayer as well. That's how it is. So therefore, no, I haven't seen those news. It's very interesting. And I think that is still nevertheless problematic. Because even though I sympathize with Islam a lot, I know that many Germans do not. And I know that therefore, this will just lead to friction. It really will. Because those Germans, they haven't researched Islam and they see it as something foreign, which is understandable. And for them, it's simply an invasion of their culture. That's how they see it. And they think their culture will get destroyed through that, which to an extent it will, of course, get changed. Because before that, you have the church bells, and now all of a sudden, you have the call to prayer in Arabic. And that is very, very different to Germany. And of course, those people will get scared of it. They will get annoyed by it, possibly, like I did back in the day. And that just leads to a lot of conflict. And this is why multiculturalism, in the way that it's practiced right now, is extremely problematic. So you have a bunch of Germans, and now you introduce a bunch of foreigners into the country that bring in their culture. But you didn't have a prior agreement to that. Liberalism opens the borders and lets everybody in. And that is extremely problematic, yet again, because those Germans, they're not going to get along with that. And now you have exactly what you wanted. You will have conflict within that country. That's how I see it, really. Even if you look into National Socialism and you see figures like AH, people that shall not be named, even he was actually sympathizing with Islam. And he would have liked the Germans to be Islamic, to be Muslims. He really would have. That would be an interesting unification of sorts, of course. But at the moment that we're at right now, with those liberal, secularized, quote-unquote Christian Germans, this will lead to further conflicts, further problems. And it's a shame, because Islam itself, I see a lot of beauty, but not in the way that it's being introduced in Germany. Like that, it just seems like a foreign culture and not like a message of God. Yeah. Ali tipped $10, thank you very much, Ali, and says, please say Shahada in your heart. That's between me and God, bro. But thank you very much, bro. I appreciate it. HR super chatted £1. Thank you very much, bro. Appreciate it. I'm getting many questions again here in the chat. I see that. When Shahada, when Shahada, when Shahada. Guys, I talked about this in this live stream. So to not bore the viewers that already saw it, you will have to skip back. If anybody can do timestamps, that would be fantastic as well. I really don't have the time for timestamps. Get it? No pun intended. But if somebody has the time, that'd be great to do timestamps and to post them in the comment section, if you can. Fear of the unknown. Yeah, exactly. But it's introduced. And like that, it will be confusing. Brother, please look into Tasawwuf, i.e. spirituality aspect of Islam, for better understanding of Islam. Tasawwuf I heard before. I will definitely look into it. Paul Rodriguez says, the Father sent the Son. They are one, because if you reject Jesus, then you're rejecting the Father. You can't see the Father if you don't accept the Son, Jesus. That is why they are one. Okay? And this couldn't mean that if you reject the message of Jesus, you're rejecting God. No? Okay. Tata Bobby, I sleep. I wish I could listen more. Tata, I'm going to sleep as well. Tata Bobby is tired too. It was a long day, guys, and it has been 2 hours. Okay, guys, I'm going to tune out now. Thank you so much for your super chats. It was absolutely amazing. So much support. I didn't expect this. We had over 400 viewers at some point. I really wish I would have been a little bit more energetic, but unfortunately I didn't bring too much energy into this live stream. God willing, the next one will be better. But nevertheless, I'm back, reconnected to you guys, and that's what counts. God willing, we will have much more guests in the future yet again, from different fields, obviously Islamic as well, but nutrition fields too. I want to bring back some nutrition stuff, and I think you will all benefit of that as well. Even if you're here for the religious stuff, looking into diet, into proper nutrition will change your life, for sure. I'm of the firm conviction that proper nutrition will change your life for the better. We cannot run on cheap fuel, so keep that in mind and tune in, even if you're just here for religion. Give it a shot and check out the nutrition stuff once it's going to be here. Anyways, thank you so much for your ongoing support, guys. If you want to further support this channel, all the links are in the description box. I have many different Patreon tiers, so check out the links and see if there's something for you if you want to support. There are many different options how to help out the channel. Crypto as well, PayPal, etc, etc. I see many love yous in the chat. It's heartwarming. Love you guys as well. From the bottom of my heart, really. This is an amazing community. That's amazing support that I'm getting here. It's crazy, really, I have to say. The support that I'm getting here on this channel is unlike any other channel I have seen so far. This community is really something special. Anyways, that being said, now it's time to go back to the family, go back to the wife, eat a little bit, relax. And then tomorrow we start a new week with many more videos to come. And of course, a lot of training. It's time to bring this dead butt into action, into shape. I'm going to do some bodybuilding here in Thailand and some jiu-jitsu, of course. Time to get back to the grind. The last 10 days were a bit too easy. The easy beach life with my buddies. Alright guys, anyways, that being said, if you can, leave it a thumbs up here as well. Thumb up the stream, comment section, share, etc, etc, etc. You know how it goes. And if you know any type of other platform than Rumble or Rockfin or whatnot, let me know in the comment section as well. I'm absolutely open to stream on other platforms. Maybe I should try Twitch. I already have an account just to get away from the censorship, because I'm walking on very, very thin ice, man. They're trying to demonetize, trying to censor, try to do all kinds of things on a daily basis. So if you have any type of platform on which you would follow me, of course, then let me know. But this is it for today. Guys, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again for supporting. And God willing, we want to see each other very, very soon. As always, may God bless you all. Much love and peace.